I think a lot of people who like skin scents are probably quite attracted to kind of clean spa-like scents. And when I say spa, I mean they've got that kind of soothing, fresh, maybe sometimes slightly kind of, I want to say ethereal, but that seems a little bit over the top. But those kind of scents that make you feel comfortable and fresh and clean, but they're not necessarily like hyper citrusy or like tangy or like zesty in a kind of wake you up way. They're more kind of soothing. So this is a collection, some of which I absolutely adore, some of which I've just kind of got and I think a spa light but might not be my kind of thing. But all of them are quite affordable, so I thought I'd put them all in this video. So we're going to start with an old classic. This is Charlie White. And Charlie White is the fresh one from the collection of classic Charlies. These are about £5, sometimes less, for a 100ml bottle. In the UK anyway. Whenever I see people talk about these in the US, they seem to be priced a bit higher, but for some reason here they are about £5. I think this one was actually £3.99, or something like that. And you can get the Eau Fresh of this as well if you want something that's super summery and light. Now the notes in Charlie White are watermelon, lily of the valley, peach, violet, jasmine and rose. I'll just have a quick sniff. This is a really interesting scent, and it's odd because it fully reminds me of school. Because so many people used to wear this when I was in comprehensive school. So kind of around the ages of like 11 to 15. And it's surprisingly strong. But it's got really nice, clean, green. It is quite lively, you know. It's got a touch of sharpness, and I think that's coming from the violet. So it's not sickeningly sweet. The peach in this is quite fresh and juicy. Like, it's not massively noticeable compared to a lot of the Charlies. And that's the main problem I have with a lot of Charlie perfumes, is just the peach in them is just always with vanilla, really sweet, too syrupy, and I don't like syrupy peach. But this one's quite green. I would say that it's something to do with the lily of the valley, I imagine. But the watermelon is keeping it kind of spa-like. So I think in terms of like a really good value kind of summer perfume, this is kind of quite safe. I would say this version is quite strong. So if you want something really refreshing and summery and you don't want to blind buy something that's going to be a bit maybe pungent, I think you're probably going to be quite safe with the Eau Fresh. I think the Eau Fresh might be a little bit easier to wear than this one. But this is still, compared to most Charlies, really light. So that's the first one. And then let's go for... Okay, so this is a teeny baby bottle of She by Alfred Sung. Now, Alfred Sung perfumes, I have to say, I've got, I think, I got 3 or 4 of them. I'm not mad for them because they remind me so much of other things. I think She is, it does still remind me of other things, but I think it's one of those that's a little bit more original, a little bit more interesting, and it's kind of a bit of a classic. So I'm just going to spray this and then I shall read you the notes. Yeah. Okay. This is also quite bargainous. I think this one is this was probably less, about a tenner, less than a tenner maybe. I think this is a 30ml. A super cute little bottle. This is a really cheap plastic. So the lid, it looks kind of cool, but I mean, when you get up close, the lid is not nice. But yeah. So the top notes of this are water lily, rice leaf, mandarin orange, and the middle notes are orange blossom and frangipani. Base notes are birch leaf and musk. On my skin, this, I think it's the frangipani, it starts to go a bit buttery gardenia-y weirdly on me. So it really reminds me, this one, of Sparkling White Diamonds by Elizabeth Taylor, but it's more gentle, it's much more spa-like. It also has a slightly tangy vibe, which I think must be coming from the mandarin mixed with the florals, that is a little bit reminiscent of his other perfume, Forever, which to me is also reminiscent of True Love by Elizabeth Arden, the top notes of that anyway, like the first spray. And then there's a touch of his jewel in it as well. This is kind of like an amalgamation of loads of his style perfumes. But I think if you want just a one size fits all, like classic spa scent, I think this is like really popular for a reason. It's probably not going to stay with me just because it does remind me of so many things I've already got. But it's a really cute perfume. It's quite affordable. And when it's on the skin, it does get quite strong. Well, I mean strong for a spa scent. It's relatively strong for a spa scent. But yeah, this is a really nice, it's quite a gentle white floral. It's not ridiculously sharp, as I do find with some white florals. This is definitely a nicer, kind of more skin scenty one. So that's Alfred Sung She. Okay, what's next on the list? Okay, let's go for this classic banger. So I've spoken about Elizabeth Arden white tea before. And I do think the original white tea is the best kind of spa scent from the collection. I think it's quite a pure smell. It's quite unisex. It's got a little bit of a woody dry down, but it's like a super gentle, really nice tea. I'm just going to give it a quick spray. Trying to make a stupid amount of noise. Yeah, it's super duper fresh, this one. It's exactly the kind, that's exactly how I'd expect like a spa waiting room to smell. And I think tea often lends itself to kind of spa-y style scents, because I think tea makes things quite soothing and relaxing. So the notes in this one, top notes of sea notes, fern, mandarin orange and clary sage. Middle notes of white tea, white iris and mate. I learnt that recently. Last time I read it as mate because that is how it's spelt, but apparently it's pronounced mate, and it's a type of tea. So there you go, now I know. And I also now recognise that some perfumes I didn't realise have tea in actually might have tea in, because it's called mate. It's a specific type of tea. So the base notes are amberette, musk mallow, exotic woods, tonka bean and amber. So yeah, so I've also got the ginger lily flanker, which I actually like better because I think it dries down a bit sweeter and it's a little bit more feminine. But this one is still an absolute classic. It's really, really nice, and it's a perfect spa scent. It's perfectly unisex. It's really, really nice. So that's a classic. What are we gonna get next? Let's stick with the tea. Oh my goodness. You cannot get more relaxing than Still by Jennifer Lopez. It is such a calming, beautiful scent. It's really the epitome of just a calm, relaxing, maybe wearing a fluffy robe, you know, getting a massage. It's exactly the kind of smell. I can also totally imagine just sitting around in one of this, I don't know if you've been to spas, but you know, when you have like the kind of chill out zone where you've got like the water with all the fruits in, and you have like tea, you know, everything smells very herbal and floral and beautiful and soothing and lovely. And Still is exactly that. Still is just perfect. It's such a wonderful scent. It's also a bottle that I probably should have saved till last because of the shape. But so the notes in Still are Earl Grey, white pepper, mandarin orange, apple and rice. Those are the top notes. The middle notes are jasmine, lily of the valley, freesia, honeysuckle, orange blossom and rose. Base notes are pepper, musk, sandalwood, iris and amber. So there's a lot of notes going on in this. But to my nose, this smells like slightly sweetened jasmine tea. So green tea, even though this is Earl Grey tea. And at first I think you do get a real Earl Grey smell. But when it dries down and the jasmine comes in, something about the combination of that tea note with the jasmine just smells like a jasmine tea. And jasmine tea is normally made with a green tea. And it just made just a pinch of sugar, you know. It's absolutely heavenly, this. That is actually ethereal. That is an ethereal perfume. So next up we have, I was always going to have to put this one in here. Another big boy. Because Lanvin is just such a good spa-like scent, and I've talked about it before. I've got videos for a few of these already, but Lanvin Oxygene is soapy because it's lactonic, but it's also super spa-like. It's so fresh and clean smelling. It's a really unusual scent in that respect because it kind of fits into so many different categories. Oh, but it is absolutely, the first time I smelled it, I was like, that is exactly what I'd like my spa to smell like if I had my own spa. So the top notes of this are Indian white pepper and bergamot. The middle notes are milk, gardenia and rose. The base notes are musk, iris and white sandalwood. And yeah, this is one that's incredibly hard to describe, and it's also slightly unfortunate because you can't really get small bottles of this anymore, and you have to take care of this one really well, else it will go off, because I have tried buying secondhand ones before to try and get a 30ml, and they're always too peppery, like they just really turn. So you'd have to invest in this, and I'd say if you like fresh, clean spa scents, but you also like really creamy bar soap style scents, then this is absolutely a safe blind buy. If you don't like one or both of those things, it's not a safe blind buy because you have to get 100ml. Having said that, you can get them for 20 quid. TK Maxx have these at the moment, and I was annoyed because they're cheaper than I bought it for. But also, like, that's a bit of a classic. I think I'm going to have to move these around to get things in, aren't I? I'm going to have to start pushing the big boys down this way and putting the little ones in front when I have space. Oh my goodness, I am obsessed with this next one. Oh, I find it hard not to just sniff it constantly. Hopefully, I mean, you might have already seen my video of this, but I talked about it in a bit more detail there. I'm obsessed with this scent. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's one of the freshest, cleanest, most beautiful smells ever. And it's got a really juicy peach in it. So some people smell this and just think it's a really peachy perfume. There's no vanilla in it. There's nothing in it that's going to like freak me out. But I think it's just, it's really hard to describe why I think this is so beautiful, but this is one that I will spray on in the morning. Like, so for instance, if I'm having a lazy Saturday and I'm not ready to get in the shower because I know I've got to wash my hair and then I've got to dry them and style my hair, I've got, you know, one of those days, I will just put this on as like a fresh refresher in the morning. And in high heat summer, this is absolutely fabulous. This is not my only bottle of this. I love this perfume. So this is Jill Sander Sport Water for Women. It's just, yeah. I mean, if you want a bit more of my rambling thoughts on this one, I do have a video about it already. But the notes in this, and you might see why I think this is so soothing, beautiful and fresh. Top notes, yuzu, brilliant. Peach, without vanilla. I do like peach, I'm not going to lie. Green leaves, and then the middle notes are jasmine, and then tea, and then rose. The base notes are ambrette, muskmallow, woody notes and amber. So it's just, it does have a slight kind of warmth. It's not like citrusy sharp. It's just beautiful. I think the juicy peach is doing a lot of work in this, which, you know, again, like I say, if there was rose, peach and vanilla, this would probably make me sick. But it's just beautiful. And I think if I hadn't read the notes and known it was peach, I wouldn't have really gone, oh, this is a super fruity, peachy perfume. But there's just something magical about this one. It's so fresh, so yummy. I just absolutely love it. So that's that guy. What else have I got on here? Let's do, oh, have I not put the, this is where I realise I haven't got the notes for everything that I actually wanted to put in here. So, I can do this one really easily because there's only 2 notes listed for this bad boy. And, so this is 4711 Acqua Colonia Bamboo and Watermelon. Now, I've also talked about this one in one of my previous videos because this is one of the ones that I'm probably going to declutter. The reason being that I find this slightly too masculine because of the bamboo. However, having said all that, it is such a fresh, spa scenty kind of smell. I said in that previous video, if you'd have told me there was cucumber in this, I'd believe you, because it has got that watery, and I can smell the watermelon a little bit, but I think bamboo is playing a bigger part here. So you've got a slight sweetness, a watery freshness from the watermelon. Like I said, I feel like there's something cucumbery about this. And I maybe find that with bamboo in general, but it's very fresh, it's very clean, but it's not veering into the cleaning product kind of smells that you get with some of these fresh clean ones. Yeah, so the only notes that are listed for this are bamboo and watermelon, and I don't think that's true. But you've definitely got a kind of sharpness at the top that I would say is some kind of citrusy smell. And then you've got the sweet watery watermelon. And then the bamboo is the thing that kind of lasts. And oddly enough, I've smelt as well recently, and I can only just put 2 and 2 together. I smelt the Omnia Crystalline perfume, the one that's got the tea in it. And that's got bamboo in as well. And this kind of reminds me of it a little bit. It's got the same kind of vibe. And I found that one too masculine for me as well. There was just something about, and I'm assuming therefore it is not necessarily just woods, it's also bamboo. So I think that sometimes bamboo, unless there's something very sweet with it, just doesn't quite work on my skin, because I think it starts to smell a bit too cologne-y. But these aren't unisex anyway, right? So yeah, if you like crystalline, I think that's a really safe blind buy. And it's so much cheaper. I mean, you can get it between like 10 and 20 quid these. So it's a really lovely one generally. And if my partner was into this one, I'd want him to keep it to wear it, but he prefers the mint and lychee one that we've got. So then this is, I've only got a tiny one of this guy because, again, I've done a video of this before. This is Clarins, how to say it, I'm never going to get it right. It's Eau Ressourçante, which I think means rebalancing in French. And I can't speak French, so I will butcher that. But it's a very incredibly long-lasting, powerful, super spa scent style smell. And it's how it goes through 2 very, very different, distinct phases. If you want to know more about this one, then you can go and watch my video about it. I do talk about why I don't actually have a full bottle of this, because I do really like this scent. But the top notes of this are basil and lemon, and then the middle notes are iris. Well, middle note is iris. Base notes cedar and benzoin. I think there's probably way more going on here than that, because it's a very complex smell. But that's all that's actually listed on Fragrantica, and that's all I could find listed just generally. So I think Clarins are probably holding that under their, under the hood. You might reckon that this is basically the Clarins in the blue bottle. When you first spray it, it's really harsh, it's super herbal, really sharp lemon. And then you have to give it maybe 15-20 minutes to dry down. It takes quite a while, so it literally wakes you up. It's like a boof. And then when it dries down, it is the most beautiful spa scent I've ever smelled. It becomes slightly floral. I always think it smells like an incredibly gentle, like violet, with like a slight natural sweetness. And it's just, I mean, probably it does smell irisy as well, but I can't say that I know a huge amount about iris as kind of a solo note. But it's so beautiful when it dries down, and you only need a couple of sprays and you can wear this all day without reapplying. It is really impressive. But for me, you just have to get through that first bit, but because it's quite fresh and zesty, so it's almost like a little bit too fresh and zesty to be a spa scent at first, but it's the dry down that's the most impressive, and that's the smell that you're left with literally for hours, days. I could wear this and wake up the next morning and easily it's still very, very noticeable. It's really, really gorgeous. So then we have this guy, and I've not really seen anyone talking about this, or these in general, certainly not in the English language. So this is AV, and this is by Adrienne Vittadini. Probably haven't said that right, I apologise. Oh, this one's really hard to describe, but I really like it a lot. And it's, again, it's in the same family as True Love by Elizabeth Arden, Forever by Alfred Sung, and actually She by Alfred Sung. It has that same tangy pear droppy style opening that is fruity notes mixed with white florals, which seems to create quite a specific smell that some people think is a bit hairspray, but it dries down quite quickly into something much more gentle and very, very spa-like. So the notes in this one are bergamot, lily of the valley, and cyclamen, top notes. The middle notes are yellow freesia, jasmine, ylang ylang, may rose, and the base notes are musk, moss, sandalwood, orris, and tonka bean. So this one starts out a little bit more zesty, a little bit more feisty. It starts off really bergamot. That's how it starts. And bergamot mixed with like white flowers. So you do get that, what I always think of as pear droppy smell. Honestly, if you know what True Love, the first spray of that smells like, this smells like that. Like a milder, less hairspray version of that when you first spray it. But the sweetness comes through quite quickly. The tonka bean comes in. It's got a warmth in it, and it retains a tiny bit of the bergamot, but I think really it becomes quite flowery and creamy, a bit musky. I mean, I don't think it really ever gets particularly woody, but this is another one that's quite hard to explain, but you can get it for quite cheap, I think, this one. So nowadays I think you can. And I've heard people refer to this as a gym scent, but I would say you need something fresher for gym scents. I think that the sweetness of this one, rather than kind of having something that's super zingy, I would never describe this as like a workout kind of smell. I feel like it's a little bit too sweet and creamy in the dry down for that. But however, I do think it's a perfect spa scent. I've got a few AV flankers as well, but I think the original, the OG, is the nicest one. It's in a pretty cool bottle, and I think it just smells lovely, and it smells particularly lovely on the skin. It's a bit of a skin scent, but I think it's really uplifting, this one. I think this one is very, very nice. So let's go. Last one. I have to mention the original green tea by Elizabeth Arden, because it is just such a classic spa scent. It smells exactly like fancy spas. It really does. So the notes in this one, I'm actually going to have to get up because I forgot to take a screenshot. But let me have a quick sniff. I did wear this the other day. Ugh. Oh my goodness, it's just absolute queen of spa scents and queen of tea scents and just a general queen of everything. It's absolutely lovely, this one. And how much do I need to go on about it? Everyone knows about green tea. But the notes in this, there's so many notes in this one. Top notes: lemon, bergamot, mint, orange peel and rhubarb. But I don't find this one too sharp or too zesty. It's a perfect level of aromatic tea, freshness and slight sweetness with a little bit of kind of citrusy boost. You definitely get a bit of orange peel and you get a tiny bit of mint, but it's not like, compared to some of the, I mean, I'm definitely going to do a high heat summer perfume video, and that's where I've got my hardcore zesty ones, my really kind of citrus ones. And rhubarb. Rhubarb is such a nice note. The middle notes: jasmine, oak moss, fennel, musk, carnation, white amber. Base notes: green tea, jasmine, oak moss, musk, celery seeds, caraway, cloves and amber. It's just so aromatic. It's just so beautiful. And I just can't, I can't think of a single time when this doesn't work. It's nice in every season. It's equally as nice in winter as it is in summer. I mean, sometimes even for me, like in summer, this one can get a little bit too strong, but I could just bathe in this. I love green tea. And I just generally love all of these. I think they're absolutely exceptional perfumes. I think they're super duper yummy. I'm just really into all of them, and I hope maybe there'll be one or two that you guys haven't seen before. But yeah, I just love these perfumes. I think they're absolute classics. And all of them give me like a real nice, calming sense of being in a beautiful, exceptionally clean, lovely, fresh spa.